Okay, I've calmed down. So she says I have a lot of learning to do, even though the baby is not born yet, and she assumes that I'm not going to be able to do a lot of learning because I don't have a lot of learning to do if I don't get the child. But yes, if the child goes into foster care, then I don't have a lot of learning to do. I'm just going to be very, very pissed off because you've taken my only chance of having a child away from me, and I will never forgive you for this because I am 36. I'm not getting any younger. I probably won't be able to have kids after the age of 40. I've been trying for 2 years and I fucking want to cry because you fucking are a shithead. You really are. Literally, I really, really wanted a child. And then to write such a report against me with the hope that a child is going to be put into foster care. Why? Because you think a foster care person is better than me. You are disgusting and you are gross. And I don't care if I'm angry right now. I should be angry because you might have just taken my only chance of having a child away from me. Let's continue this. Okay, this woman says that I have a lot of learning to do, and yet she didn't ask me to demonstrate how to change a nappy. She didn't see me with a child. She didn't ask me about nursery. She didn't ask me if I'm going to get a stair guard on the stairs. She didn't ask me if I had seat or buggy or anything like this. She didn't ask me what temperature the room should be if a child was here. She didn't ask me about the toys in my house and what age should I give it. She didn't ask me about whether a child should play with Lego or things like this. She didn't ask me about the risk to an unborn baby. She didn't ask me about risk to a born baby. She didn't ask me how to use a sterilizer. She didn't ask me how old should a child start brushing her teeth. She's assumed that I know nothing and have a lot of learning to do based on absolutely nothing because she didn't ask any of these questions. And that is the most frustrating thing. She has assumed that I don't know anything just because she didn't ask me anything or ask me any of these questions, and because I didn't say it. I mean, I doubt my mum said any of this. I bet any social services that does a viability test, they don't go through a big long list. I think she's personally just thought that I was a prostitute, and then they just tried to make up shit about my lack of understanding, lack of ability, lack of anything. And it's just, no, you have a lack of understanding. You have a lack of ability. You have a lack of understanding that I am angry and that I wanted this child, and you might have just taken that chance away from me. And social services aren't helping me at all because of this stupid report that you just made. Understanding and accepting the real reasons which lead to a child's being a child's removal from parents. She's given me 4 out of 10. You know what? The child wasn't actually taken away from Sophie. Sophie didn't have the child. I've never seen Sophie with a child. I've never, how can I possibly answer this question correctly when I don't know the reasons why a child would be taken off her because I've never seen her with a child. So I don't know, to assume that I should know this question when this question has not actually happened is ridiculous. Okay, now that I've seen Sophie with a child, I do have a lot more that I can say. But yeah, I had not seen Sophie with a child. So if the child did get taken off her, but yeah, anyway, Miss B identified lack of stability. This is what I talked about. Sophie doesn't have stability. She didn't prepare anything. She didn't have a flat prepared or room prepared. She's incompetent because she did things like leaving. There was a tap running and she just left it for ages, and she didn't have electricity throughout the whole of January in her house because she didn't want to call to get a new meter because technically it wasn't her house, but she was living there. But it was the partner's house, but the partner's not there, and yeah, it's a bit complicated. But she was planning on moving out, but she didn't. But yeah, it's she wasn't in the right place, and but yeah, I whatever. She doesn't know who my sister is, and if she knew my sister, she would know that actually her being incompetent is actually kind of what it is. But yeah, me saying to a child incompetent, I don't think a child would actually know what that word means. So if I did say to a child, I think Sophie's incompetent, I mean, I don't think they would know what that word means, but whatever. I mean, I'm not going to argue this question too much because I don't think it's that important. But ability to protect a child from further harm, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. So you think I'm probably just going to let him walk out in the streets? You think I'm just going to? I don't understand. What would you base my ability to keep a child safe? 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 reasons. I have concerns of disabilities, limited knowledge and understanding of risks and impact on an unborn baby. Why would you have any concerns over my ability to my limited knowledge? You never asked me. You never asked me once what risks to an unborn baby are. And Sophie was not living with me. You know the risks when you are actually pregnant and you actually are facing everyday life with it. You know, it's insane. It's insane to think that I have limited knowledge when you didn't ask me that question. It's insane to think that without adequate knowledge of it and experience of risk, Miss B could fail to identify any further risks to a child. Bullshit! Risks to a born baby are very, very different from risks for an unborn baby. I do know risks to an unborn baby. You never asked me this question, so therefore you can't assume that I don't know that answer. And then to say that because I don't know that answer, I also don't have adequate knowledge of risks that might happen to a born baby. I mean, fuck you. Fuck you. Like seriously, do you not think that I can talk? Do you not think that I have a mouth? Do you not think that I actually can think and actually understand things? I don't think you know anything about me, and I think you're just making up shit because it fits your agenda. You've said, I want this woman to not have a kid, and therefore I'm going to make sure that this woman does not have a kid by writing up a bunch of bullshit. You know, I think you can't understand risk because I know who I am, and you don't. And you don't understand the risk that you have placed by saying that someone like me, a family member, could actually care for this child, is not capable. But you'd rather have the child be brought up by foster parents who probably just lied through their teeth about everything just so they can make money out of it, you know. And you don't understand also, if this child doesn't go with me and ends up with my mum, you know, my mum is far battier. My mum has no ability to understand that my sister has mental conditions. She has no ability to understand that sometimes my sister doesn't do things right. She just thinks that everything is with her is fine. And so you have placed the child in so much risk by taking away someone who actually can see risk, someone who actually does analyze things, someone who actually does speak and see things and can, you know, it's disgusting. And I'm very angry. I cannot express how angry I am over this, and I will never let this form go. What I'm going to do is when I have a child, if I have a child, because I'm getting too old now, so I probably won't even have children soon. But if I ever have a child, I'm going to frame this report and I'm going to stick it right above the crest, and I'm going to write, "This woman is a bitch," right at the top of it. That's how angry I am over this report. I'm also worried that Miss B does not seem to reflect on how bringing random people into our home. She does not reflect on how bringing random people into our home. I don't know what says it. Everything I'm reading up. I am worried that Miss B does not seem to have reflected on bringing random people into her home when she resumes her work and present risks. You know what? I do. To think that I don't see risks about my work. You know, I know that I do massage and I do bring people into my home, but that does not mean that I'm going to introduce them to a child. That does not mean I'm going to introduce them to that. I don't hang out with them. They're not friends, the majority of them. They just come, they come. I have a good clientele. They usually are doctors or lawyers, a few taxi drivers, but they're hardworking people that just want to unwind, and they don't want some stressful, you know, they don't want stressful things, and they definitely don't want a child, because a child's the most stressful thing you can have. So it is a very safe thing having people in my home. You haven't done this job. You don't know the kind of clients that I get, and yeah, okay, there is some sort of risk to it, but you're making out that there's no risk to anything else. I mean, I'm sure there's a risk if you worked in like a job and you have 9 to 5 job. So you're going to get like a nanny to come and look after your child for 8 hours. Well, don't you think there's risks in that? You know, they might bring a boyfriend over, they might bring some friends over, they might want to go off to the park, and you know, there's all strangers walking around. I mean, this is Aston, this is not a particularly safe area, and there's plenty of people that live in dodgy areas, or just going down an alleyway these days there's risk to that. Or say if you've got a night shift or something, and you have to any job you do, you're going to place some amount of risk to your child. And I don't see how that would compare, how bringing in a stranger to have an hour client, an hour massage, whilst there's a child next door, I don't see, yes, it is riskful, and I do see risks. And to think that I don't see risk is ridiculous, because of course I do see risk, but there is risk to everything. You know, you're driving in a car somewhere, that there's a risk to that. Going on a bus, going on a train, just anything you do poses some amount of risk, but there's far less risk if you're in your home environment and just inviting one or two people a day, maybe less when the child is, you know, 6, 7 months or something. And I do see risk, so I don't know why you would even say that I don't see risk. But I am worried that the child will likely be exposed to unsafe people should Miss B not devise a safe plan for balancing the caring role. I mean, I'm not going to expose the baby to anything. I don't expose myself to these people. I just go in to do the session and then they go. I don't hang out with these people. They're not there for. I don't have many friends. I have like 2 or 3 friends, and that's about it. And you know, you could say the same about anything you do. You know, if you go to a nursery and leave a child in there, you know, don't you think that the child could be exposed to pedophile dads or something that come in and out of a place like that? Or, you know, there's so much risk to everything. Don't you think that when placing your child in a nursery, that there could be a bunch of nurse or job seeker workers or people that don't really enjoy their job and they're just there for the money? And you know, don't you think there's risk to that? There's risk to everything you do. And just to say that my ability to protect your child is 3 out of 10 because I work 1 hour a day where I invite some who's usually a client, a regular, someone I know. Most of them aren't new people. Some of them are, yes, but 3 out of 10 when all I do is sit in the house and watch TV. I don't have a social life. I don't go out and do much. I don't drive. I mean, anyone who drives, okay, you're putting your child at risk because you're getting in a car and you could crash. Anyone who goes to do a 9-to-5 job, you're putting your child at risk. I mean, where is your child when you're doing your 9-to-5 job? Anyone who decides to, you know, go out regularly to a club or something and you want to leave your child with a babysitter, oh, well, that's risk. Everything you do is risk. Now, the only thing I do is sit in a house and watch TV with the 1 or 2 hours client. So my number of hours that I work is like 2 hours a day. So I work 2 hours a day. So I'm putting my child at risk for 2 hours a day. And yet most people work 5, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Okay. There might be some that just take off like 2 years and don't work, which I could do because technically I don't actually need the money and I'm not really working for money. It's more out of boredom. So I'd probably see far less people if I did have a child. But 3 out of 10. My ability to look after, to protect a child from harm is 3 out of 10, even though all I do is sit in the house and watch TV with a couple of regulars who I get on with. You know, I hate this woman. I hate this woman. Capability to be realistic about possible problems and special needs which the child may present. 3 out of 10. So, okay, I know I'm dyslexic. I know about autism because my sister's autistic and so is my dad, and I've got quite a lot of friends who are autistic. I had a boyfriend once for 3 months who's got OCD, so I know about that. My uncle's got bipolar. My mum's manic. My auntie's depressive. You know, there's tons and tons of mental illness in my family, and yet my ability to work out a child's special needs is 0 or 3 out of 10 because I don't know any of this stuff. I mean, I haven't done lots and lots of research into schizophrenia and into all these things. I don't take interest in all these mental conditions because I know Sophie's gone through mental health problems and I've taken an interest because I've seen it for myself. But yeah, according to her, 3 out of 10 is my ability to be realistic on a child's needs that might like special needs and stuff. Bullshit. You know, I'm actually very, very good at working out people's problems. I do massage. I have to work out, like, if someone's got back pain or problems, if they've got muscle ache in certain areas, and I'm very good at talking to people and working out possible solutions to stuff. And so to give me 3 out of 10 to work out a child's needs and special needs or possible problems. So you don't think I'm good at problem solving? So you don't think that building an extension or buying a house or traveling around the world, you don't think that any of this involves problem solving? Oh yeah, and also my religion as well. I mean, that's a fucking big problem that that needs to be solving. But yeah, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Great. You really don't know anything about me, is all I can say. Capability to offer warm, stimulating care. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Miss B seems motivated to offer warm care when the baby is born during the initial stages of his development. However, I am worried about her ability to sustain this because, of course, I can't be loving and warming and care. Oh, wait, no, it's sustain this, giving her limited knowledge. Okay, because I have no knowledge, I can't offer stimulating care because knowledge and care are completely different. No, they're the same things according to her. Bullshit. Knowledge and stimulating care are completely different things. You do not need knowledge to have stimulating care. Stimulating care is supposed to be about caring for the child and your need to want to look after this child. It's not about knowledge. But yes, 4 out of 10. Thank you. Commitment to helping the child develop an understanding of their history, promote positive identity, including their ethnic and cultural religion. She's given me 5 out of 10, which is pretty weird because I don't know anything about the father's side of the family. I know nothing about the father's side of the family, and yet she's given me 5 out of 10 because I can tell him all about his history, even though his father was from Madeira and I've never been to Madeira. But anyway, I want to go to Madeira. I do want to go to Madeira. I do want to find out about his family. I do want to have a good relationship with them. I am not like the evil George who wants to keep the child all for himself and not let any family member have him. I do want to get as many family members involved as possible, providing I know they're safe, which I will need help with social services when working out how safe Sophie is with the child, because I want them to decide how much time she should get. But yes, if someone is safe, I will definitely want them to be involved, and I would want to know about the father's side. But yeah, it's really strange how she's given me a high score for that, even though I have no knowledge at all of the father or anything about their family, and I've only met them once at the funeral. But anyway, yes, because this report is all full of lies, of course I'm going to get a high score for something I don't actually know anything about, and low scores for things that I do know about, because this is all wrong. But anyway, having a similar ethnic and cultural background. Actually, the baby is going to be half Portuguese, so I don't have a similar ethnic. I'm not Portuguese and I don't speak Portugal and stuff. But yes, of course, this woman knows nothing about me. So yes, having a similar ethnic cultural background to the baby is correct because I'm Portuguese. But anyway, half of it is my sister's, and I do know about her. Do I actually know anything about my sister? I mean, she's living in the other side in Brighton, and I've hardly ever seen her. Anyway, yes, 5 out of 10. Well, at least that's better than all the other ones that should be way higher. But anyway, Miss B. However, I'm worried about Miss B's ability to explain in a child-friendly way why the mother's care is not there. Yes, because I can't be friendly to a child, because of course. Not friendly a child, don't be silly. Ability to deal with strain of changing family roles. 5 out of 10. It's highish. Reason for this: Miss B does not have children in her care. Miss B would need to adjust to a new routine. This is bullshit. I don't need to adjust to. As I said, all I do is watch TV all day. I don't actually have a routine, so I don't need to adjust to a TV. I'll continue watching TV, and there'll be a child next to me. That is different. How is that my routine going to change? And I see 1 or 2 hours of work a day, which are completely changeable. And I can't really. I mean, I can say no to them if I want, but yeah, I don't understand what she's talking about, because she's acting like I have a full-time job, and she actually says this in the next part. Miss B would also be moving from support to Sophie to carer for a baby. Well, that's not going to happen. Sophie's not going to be living here any longer. Ian put a stop to that, by the way. I mean, technically, I'm glad he did, but it wasn't my choice that Sophie doesn't live here. But yes, I do see that there will be problems here. But anyway, Ian's the social worker of the child, because I don't know. He says it's because in my YouTube videos I say some terrible things about Sophie, when in reality I actually just say some terrible things about Christianity, and I think he's a Christian. So I think that he is turned against me because of my religious videos, and nothing to do with my hatred for. I've also got hatred for the social services, but whatever. Anyway, where is it? I'm sure it says something about this. I am worried about Miss B's ability to maintain balance of being a full-time carer and a supportive sister whilst prioritizing the child's needs. Yes, I'm definitely not going to be able to balance being a supportive sister whilst looking after a child, because I'm not really a supportive sister. But does it matter if the child is deemed to be living with me and not Sophie? No. So yeah, I don't. She gave me 5 out of 10. Sufficient support network, 4 out of 10. My mum got a good report, but I don't know how. But yeah, reasons. Miss B spoke of her mother supporting her with her baby. However, limited information on her mother's ability. So again, she's just focusing straight on the negatives. Okay, her mother could be there, but her mother's probably not safe. We don't know. And she lives in a different country, so she's probably not going to be around. And then it's just like, I'm concerned about Miss B's being comfortable of introducing the baby to males. I said that I would introduce him to Phil, the guy that I first tried for a kid with, and I told him that I was having meals with him every now and then, and yes, I would introduce him to him. Why? Because he has a car and he wants to go to the zoo, and he'd be a really good dad if he could have kids, and yes. But of course, me wanting to invite him to invite a trustworthy friend, someone I've known for 5 years, to meet the baby. Oh no, that's, of course, she would have concerns about that. Why? Because this woman doesn't like me. This woman doesn't trust me. This woman has nothing nice to say about me. She's just too busy trying to think about all the things that she could hold against me. I have 2 friends. Oh, but of course, they're probably not going to be trustworthy. I mean, they're probably not going to be safe. Probably just random strangers. Probably. You know nothing about me if you think that. I have no friends because I don't like people and I don't trust people. And so to think that the only 2 friends that I do trust are people that are not trustworthy, that just shows that you know nothing about me. And this whole report is an absolute insult. Although Miss B says she trusts some of these people, I am concerned that she could be putting the child at risk. Yes, because everyone else can have a child, and everyone else can have friends, and everyone else can have like a list of friends. But I have 2, and of course I'm going to be putting the child at risk because I'm me, and you don't like me. So you're going to just say whatever you can to make shit up. Sufficient time and space devoted to everyone in the family, 5 out of 10. Because of course I'm not going to be able to arrange times with my sister for her to meet her child. No, of course I'm not going to be able to do that. 5 out of 10. Why 5 out of 10? I talk with my sister. I can invite her over. I have space for all of us. I was even willing to live with her for this, and give me 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 because of absolutely nothing. This should be illegal. This should be illegal to judge someone on a 1-hour conversation where she's obviously just taken a disliking to me and is obviously just trying to say everything that she can to try and belittle me, whatever. 5 out of 10. My ability to invite Sophie over to see her child is 5 out of 10. Why? Exactly. Why is it 5 out of 10? Why can't I call Sophie up and say, hey, do you want to see your kid? Oh, wow. Yes, come over. Why would that be 5? Why would I get 5 out of 10 for my ability to do that? Like, I know I don't really get on with her that well, but she knows this. She knows how I feel, and she seems kind of fine with it, which, okay, she's a little bit mentally ill, right? I mean, she doesn't, but she does, but I don't know. We kind of, yeah, whatever. I was going to say we kind of get on, but we kind of don't. But we know that we don't get on. She insults me just as much as I insult her. She puts my religion and calls me crazy in so many ways. So me calling her crazy, that's just kind of like, that's just how we talk. That's just us being us. Ability to work with professionals and seek out help. Of course, I have no ability to do that. No, I have no willingness to do it. Why? Because When I work with professionals like you, because you're supposed to be a professional, you just give me a whole load of shit about myself and try and make me feel bad and try and make me feel stupid. I can't work with Ian because of my anti-religious views, and he's now going to try and tell everyone, probably Sophie's solicitor, that I'm insane because of my release. I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing that. But yeah, my ability to work with professionals, it's like so why don't you think I have the ability to work with professionals? You know what? My view is these professionals are not professionals. They are just people that just want to insult me, because that is all you've done. And that is all Ian's doing by ignoring me ever since the day the day this child was born. I have an ability to work with professionals. I am a masseuse, and I see a lot of people. They're all professionals. I am a very professional person, and I have a very good job. I've been doing this for 10 years. I work with the professionals every single day. And so to give me 3 out of 10 and my ability to work with professionals just proves how little you know. I'm not a cashier or something. I actually work in a professional job with professionals in a professional manner, doing a professional thing. And I've been doing this for 10 years, and my professionals are very happy with the services I offer. And many of them come back, and many of my clients even have 4 hours because they love having conversations with me. They're professional people, and they love having professional conversations with me. But this is not a professional conversation. So I am not being professional to you, because you are not being professional to me by making all these accusations that my ability to work with professionals is 3 out of 10. But my willingness to work with professionals or to work with you is now 3 out of 10 because you've given me this report. But at the time you did this report, I was actually very nice to you. I was actually very polite to you. I actually said everything right and everything correctly. And I said, you know what? I don't really want professionals after the child is getting 6 months. I don't really want Sophie to be here and have mental health professions come in every single day to just go on a big long list about, I don't know, because if professionals come to my house, all I'm going to be doing is analysing everything they say and trying to work out if it's important or if it's correct. And I'll probably just come up with a whole long list of all the reasons why you're doing things wrong. So it's probably best for your sake or their sake that doesn't happen. But I have the ability to work with professionals, not 3 out of 10. My ability to work with professionals is quite high. If I feel it need to, if I feel that the professionals are doing things properly. If I feel that professionals are not doing things properly, then yeah, I'm going to be making complaints. And yes, I'm going to be saying things. Strengths and specific needs. Abilities to meet the child's needs. And I don't actually, where's the number? The number seems to have disappeared on this one, but I'm sure it was a very low one. Anna B presents as a caring, loving aunt who wants to prevent her sister's baby from being in care. But really, she's not, of course. I mean, that's literally what she's trying to say here. But anyway, Miss B appears motivated to care for baby when he's born, has bought special needs essentials. Actually, this is actually, the first sentence I missed on it. It's specific strengths and relatives. That's why there's no number to this one. This is her specific strengths relating to a child's ability to meet their needs. And so it's just basically asking her to list all the things that are positive about me, which is true. I do have the right appropriate home, and I do have verbal reference checks identified Miss B as motivated, having total energy to care for a baby. She's written a couple of positive things that, if true, should actually mean that I do have the ability to look after a child, but whatever. She's going to try and, the whole report is just her trying to put, I have to stop it.